Hello, my brothers and sisters in Christ. It's a nice early morning. It's not very early though, but still early hours of the morning in over here in Texas. Although my audience are mostly, really, I can't say mostly Americans, but yeah, by average maybe mostly Americans. However, this message is not particularly for Americans. It's for everyone really. The majority of my concern at the moment is for Britain, because that's where my real home is, and though at the moment we live in the US, we're hoping, hopefully, sooner or later we'll get back. I really have a burden, a heavy burden on my heart, and I just wanted to share with you and suggest a couple of things while I'm talking to you. The topic of digital ID has been circling around mainly in the UK at the moment. It's a very hot topic, and it's got people really going mad about it. Some people are, really not bothered about it. They just think, oh, what's the big deal? It's just another ID, isn't it? It's just like a passport. But I tell you, it's not just another ID to verify you, because they can already verify you with a lot of things, in a lot of ways. So they don't need a digital ID to verify you. That is absolutely nonsense they're giving you. And another nonsense they're giving people to shut them up, because there is a lot of uproar against illegal immigrants, and that they're taking the jobs in the market, and so there is less workplaces that they can work. The locals, the native citizens, there are less vacancies and job opportunities for them to take up. So because of that, and because of a few other things, that has been politicized and turned into a religious fight, which truly isn't. But politicians who study politics, to do this very thing, to do this very act of dividing and ruling, they are doing that to divide the nation. Maybe should I say nations, because that same thing that's happening in England is happening in the US, but in a different way. And as I see, and I've got contacts in other countries, I can see the same things happening all around the world, really. But in each country, they're using their culture, their faith, their general beliefs to divide the population, divide the nation into sects, into sectarians, and all those kind of things that can, anything that can divide people, they use. If it's religion or faith, if it's classes of society, if it is the nature of their citizenship, the legality of it, all that, immigration, Immigration is the top topic, agenda, a very hot one. Palestine is another thing. Israel, the fight or wars in different parts of the world. I don't want to name names in different parts of the world. There are wars happening, and there is a guy who is calling himself President of Peace. In fact, he's caused more wars than any other president so far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I was supporting him in his first round of presidency, and I remember when I was supporting him, we were in England then, and I was teaching at the college, and my students were shocked that I was supporting him because he was seen as a lunatic then, especially in Europe, in the entire Europe, in most countries, particularly England, and so they thought it's strange that I was supporting him. But now things have changed, and the man is not the same man. For whatever reason, we're not getting into that at the moment in this video, but for whatever reason, he's not the same guy, and he seems to be like a pendulum, going this way and that way, changing his tune, 1 minute peace, next minute war, and bombing at the same time, talking about peace. And a lot of things going on. I can't talk about those things in full details here. It's just getting off the subject, and we are digressing from the main topic I wanted to talk to you about, which is the digital ID, particularly in England or the UK, should I say, because that's what it is. Once you understand that, I hope you stick around and listen to the whole thing. I have to say, even if you are from any other country, because the same thing is happening, if it hasn't already happened in your country, it is happening, and it will follow. Those countries, those governments of the other countries will follow suit once it's rolled out in the UK. Just around the beginning of COVID, I made a series of videos, maybe 3 or 4 parts video about COVID and what's behind it. And I sent it around. I got a lot of sneers and mocking, and some people didn't say anything, some people agreed. And however, in those videos I mentioned the names of a few countries that are really, really important in the world as far as their role in the world, the roles that they're playing. So I mentioned a few countries, and England or Britain was one of them, and I said these are pivotal countries. Once something happens in them, it has a ripple effect on the rest of the world. It can't be just segmented, and you can't look at them as individual countries that they're doing something for themselves. It is up to them what they're doing. It will affect you. My American friends, it is coming to you. You're already talking about it in the Congress, and sooner or later they roll it out, and you need to stand up. And what I am saying here to you is that the digital ID is not to stop the illegal immigrants, whether you are in the UK or in America. It's not going to stop them from taking up your jobs, and it is nothing to do with that at all. This is just let's say they use that as a false flag to just say, okay, we've got a solution for you, and yes, with this we can limit the or reduce them down to zero. Basically, that's what they're saying. Reduce the illegal immigrants to zero, and after that they won't even take up your jobs anymore, and you have lots of more jobs. It is a convenient way to identify yourself, verify yourself. It has all your utilities, everything together. You don't have to search for your electric bills. That's what they're selling to you. They're telling you all these little artificial, if you like, benefits, goodies of a digital ID. What's behind it is a full control of you personally, for each individual person. So you will have basically zero freedom. There's a lot of our freedoms gone, disappeared, particularly after COVID. We lost a lot of our freedoms that we had prior to that. After COVID, one by one, almost disappeared. Under the guise of protection, under the guise of security, is for your own good, and this and that. They did away with a lot of your freedom, our freedoms. Now, the last bit of freedom that you might possibly have is this choice to choose and say no to the digital ID. And why should we say no? Because if you remember, and I warned you about these, if you've been following me, I warned everybody about this COVID and what's behind it, and I said the whole thing is a sham. It's just to control you, and I said once you comply, you'll be controlled, and they did that. They told you to stay at home. It might save lives, and it didn't. In fact, they killed more people with their those needles than the COVID itself, and the fear, and also lots of people, of course, died of fear rather than the virus itself. Anyway, again, don't want to get off the topic. The digital ID is there to control you. If you remember what happened during the COVID, it stopped people traveling. You couldn't fly out of your country. You couldn't fly at all anywhere, in or outside your country, unless you had received what they had given you or what they were offering. You couldn't go to shops, supermarkets without a muzzle, and they literally muzzled you to not say anything. And if people like me, who said a few words here and there, shut us down, they gave me a strike on my YouTube channel, they shut my Facebook down, and a lot of other things that they did to even my wife's channel, who wasn't even saying anything sensitive, as they say. But they did all those things, and my ministry channel, YouTube channel, is basically dead. I think I can only see it myself, or if I just send a direct link to somebody, they might see it. I don't know, but I know for sure that people have told me that they have subscribed, and later they've noticed that they've been unsubscribed, unbeknown to them. It's the same, it's like, this is what it's called. This is the freedom that you have. Freedom of expression, freedom of choice, and all that artificial things that they're selling you. Digital ID will lock you. You cannot be free to speak, because it's a social credit scoring system, and if you've got people, if you've talked to them, people in China, they can tell you all about it. And I put a video out there about what was happening in China. That was about actually a few years before COVID. I shared the video. It wasn't my video. I shared the video on my social media about this social scoring, social credit scoring in China that is horrible, and it stops people even going to the supermarket buying things. Banks, they can freeze your bank account, they can stop you from traveling, there is no limit. Once you accept that digital ID, you are a number and you are in their system. They know all about you, they know about your bank account, they know about your health, they know about what you buy, what you eat, where you go. They know everything, and they can stop any of them, any and all of them. They can stop your access to your own bank account. And it's funny because these things are happening at the same time, and it's not a coincidence that cashless is coming to the UK at the same time as they're pushing for cashless society. And they want basically to do away with banks, to do away with cash, and banks are disappearing. The bank actual buildings are turning into mere cash machines. You can just go there, basically just put your card there and get your money, some money out, limited amount of money, not too much, because if you want more than a certain amount, which is not a lot really, you'll be questioned, like interrogated. Well, what do you need this money for? And that was only a few years ago, that's not now. We went to a bank and I wanted not a lot of money, I wanted only £500 out of my account to pay the contractors who were working in my house at the time, and they questioned me, why do you need this money, and what do you want to use it for? And I was shocked, just thinking, well, this is my money. This is my money. Why are you even asking me? I should ask you, what are you doing with my money? Do I ask you which wars you're using my money for? Which countries you're sending missiles and tanks and guns to with the money that I have given you? You're using it willy-nilly. But no, we can't ask them, but they can ask us about our own money. So they can do that. With digital ID, you are a prisoner. You will be imprisoned, and if you say anything that they don't like, they can immediately freeze your account. Again, it's not a coincidence that they've been pushing for electric cars. Electric cars are controlled from their centers. They can switch you off, and so your car will turn into a piece of junk. You cannot use it. Actually, it is really dangerous because they can actually stop you while you're driving, and it can cause a lot of accidents. But nevertheless, it's a control game. It has nothing to do with immigration. And I'll tell you about immigration as well while I'm on this subject, because people are getting really wound up about this, and they've gone to London. They called it United Kingdom March, which is a nice title, and to be honest, I am mostly on their side. But when I get into the nitty-gritty of it and get into the down root of it, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to find out that they are not really united. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against them, because I'm actually on the side of them. I want the people to take control of their own countries, no matter which country you're in. I am with you. I want you to take charge and take control of your country instead of a bunch of retard, psychopath elite only because they have money. They have a lot of money. And to be honest, they're really stupid. They don't have brains. They don't even have one or two brains amongst all of them. They just have money. And with the power of money, with the media they have in their control, they can do a lot, and they have been doing a lot for the last decade or so at least. So immigration, these so-called illegal immigrants that are coming through the channel, when the first thingy came through and I read that on the news, I said to my wife, this is going to be a trend. There is going to be a trend, I'm telling you. And it became a trend. Literally every day some were coming. The first few were probably genuinely illegal immigrants, as you call it. But afterwards, they haven't been illegal immigrants. These people, I'll tell you what they are. UK people in the UK voted for Brexit. What that means is you exit from the EU, justice system, human rights, the control of the EU system, the EU Parliament, the EU government. So some unelected elite in the EU will not be able to control the laws or dictate the laws to us in Britain. That was the idea. However, in the midst of that, we got people who, with their rhetoric of controlling the borders, controlling this and that, they put subliminally or subtly, they put the idea of controlling immigration, which is fine, and that is good. It's a good thing. Every country should do that. But the core, they don't tell you, the core problem is that, first of all, we have people migrating, refugees coming from all these war-torn countries, and first of all, the wars have been caused by us, the Westerns, and by us, the Westerners, not the people necessarily, but the governments, and they have been forced to leave their country for whatever reason and take refuge in one of those countries in the EU or America. And so when they do that, the EU consists of around 27 countries, and all these countries have agreed to the terms of the EU that each country has to accept some of these, a certain number of these asylum seekers, depending on the size of their own country, depending on a lot of things. I don't, to be honest, I don't know all the full details of it, but that is what it is. It is an agreement between, let's say, the UK and the rest of the EU countries that we accept so many per year, and Germany accepts so many per year, and France accepts so many per year. And this is an agreement. Now, I know this is not something that lots of people would like to hear, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Because those people who are talking about illegal immigrants coming and taking our jobs, I bet you not even one of them have had any contact with all these illegal or legal immigrants. So they don't really know what they're talking about. They've just heard from their gangsters, master, or their leaders that these people are bad, these people are from different culture, different religion, and they keep pumping that religion thing, religious. And it's their way of life pushing it down our throat, and this and that. First of all, we are a democratic, supposed to be at least, democratic free country. So anybody can have whatever religion they want. They can choose. Secondly, this immigration thing, we have an agreement. It's a Geneva agreement that we accept so many of these asylum seekers, and France accepts some, Germany accepts some, Italy accepts some, and so on. So now, if you think this is not true, just think about this. Go to Dover and have a look. All these dinghies coming. They're coming with the waist jackets, life-saving jackets, and on this side, the British police takes off their jacket, hands it over to the French. So they go back and bring more people. So this is not really, you can't really call this illegal immigration. This is illegal immigration. They are just facilitating it legally to basically get their numbers filled up. The same thing is happening in the US, and obviously patriotic people get angry. They just think this is illegal, there should be a limit and all that. I understand that. I am not saying anything against what you stand for, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you have to think right, because this is what they're doing behind the scene. What's happening you don't see, and they're not telling you that this is an agreement. Now, in America it's a little bit different, so I'm not getting into that one at the moment. But we just want to talk about these immigrants, that they have an agreement. This is a Geneva Convention agreement. So don't get it mixed up. And while again on that subject, the same kind of people with that kind of mentality go and fight with these people, smash their windows and doors of their businesses, their shops there, even the hotels that they're keeping them and keeping them for the time being. Well, this is nothing to do with them. The hotel manager is not his fault. He's been told by the government. So your enemy really is not those people, those refugees, those asylum seekers. Your enemy is your number 10 and down the street. So you go to that number, go to that house and tell them about your complaint. And get that changed. Get that person in that house, that number 10 Downing Street, changed. And I tell you, even changing him is not going to save your neck or mine, because he is only a puppet. This is a project. The digital ID was Tony Blair's idea, and that goes back about 20 years ago, that he wanted to bring. He faced a lot of opposition within his own party and other parties and the nation as a whole. It got filed. One thing about these governments, about the governments of the world, and particularly about Britain, I have to tell you, they try to bring in or roll out a law, a bill or something, and if they face opposition, they don't just put it in the bin. They never do that. They never put it in the bin. They just park the idea, they put it in the shelf, so to speak. They shelve it for the time being until the time is right again, and they bring it out again. So Tony Blair has been pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's not Stammer. Stammer doesn't even have the brain to think that far, and he hasn't got the backbone to even do anything, let alone that one that has a lot of opposition. So far, about almost 3 million people, as I looked at it recently, have signed an online petition to say no to digital ID. And if you're a democratic country by any standard, then they should just do away with it. They should just forget it. They should just say, yes, we are your servants. We are working for you, the people, and the people have said their say, and they've had their say, and the people have had their say. And so we are going to forget about that. But they'll never do that. At best, they'll park the idea, they'll shelf it for another golden opportunity or best moment that they can bring it out. So what are you saying now? Okay, what I'm saying is, first of all, say no. You're not accepting, and there are ways to say no. Yes, we've all signed the online petition to say no to that, which is good. Keep signing still. Let them see the numbers growing, even though they've already seen it and they've debated it, and they still push for it, which shows their true nature, their true dictatorialship nature of these people who put on nice suits and coats and ties and all that, and they make themselves look like civilized, but they're not. They are very, very much barbaric and tyrannic rulers. Once you give them power, they don't even want to give up. I mean, if I had that much haters in the country, that many people, I would just give up. I would just say, okay, you don't want me, I'll go, leave, goodbye. At least the other prime ministers, recent prime ministers, none of them were good, but still they had an ounce of decency to see that people don't want them, and they resigned. But this guy, he just doesn't even give up. It just shows you his real character. Say no. Sign that petition again. If you haven't signed it, go sign it. If you know people who haven't signed it yet, go share with them that page, that link. Let them sign, because that number has to be increased, although it's already high, and by law they have to debate it when it reaches 100,000 people. But nevertheless, it has to grow for just them to see there is a growing number of people that have absolutely no desire to have this digital ID, and they are totally against it. For all those reasons I mentioned. And you can also write a letter to your local MP. You can even make an appointment and go visit your local MP and raise your voice. Raise your voice in a way to say, look, we do not want this. You can even gather a local petition, actually written up in Word document, handwritten, or however written you like, however you like it. You write it, get people, neighbors, friends, sign it, and take that to your MP. I know some people might say, well, we've already signed the online petition. Yes, but this is a different thing. You're still showing your resilience. You're showing that you are totally against this idea. The idea of control. The same thing happened, similar thing happened about smart meters. They were pushing for smart meters for quite a few years, and as an electrical engineer, I warned people. I said, look, this is not good for you. First of all, it's not good for your health. Secondly, that's a controlled spying device in your own house that you're allowing it in. And I taught my students, I told them all about it, I told my neighbors and all the people that I know, I warned them, I woke them up and raised awareness. And majority of them, as far as I know, they didn't go along with the smart meters. They rejected the letters that they were receiving, and so they didn't allow that. And as you saw, it didn't really, their plans of having a smart meter in every house didn't really pan out, because they saw people are against it. And that's what I'm saying now. They have to see that you are 100% against it. Not just signing an online petition, which is a brilliant idea, and you've done that, and I've done that for me, and my wife has done that. But you need to show that you are totally, absolutely against this idea. And to do that, you have to still raise your concerns, take your complaint to the authorities, to the local councils, to the local MP, and tell them that. Make appointments. Take a actually written petition signed by neighbors and all that, by their names and everything, and take it to them. Speak on behalf of your community. That's another way. And at the end of the day, it might be something that they can push it down our throat, individual people, and say you must have this. But what they can do, they can force companies to have it, and unless clients have the digital ID, they cannot be registered with those companies. For example, your utility companies, your electric, your gas, your water, airlines, they will enforce that. They say we are now digitalized, and unless you have a digital ID, you cannot get on board or sign up for this contract or that contract. You can't get a mortgage. You can't buy a house. You can't sell a house. You can't sell even your car. You can't buy a car because you don't have a digital ID. And all those things will come. You can't get to HMRC. You can't communicate with them because you don't have a digital ID. And all these things will be part of their control. And if you say anything they don't like, they can actually literally shut you down, shut your electric vehicle, shut your water, and you'll be forced to have it. So another thing you can possibly do for yourself and for your family, because like I said, these will be filed at best, and it'll come out of the shelf again at another time in in the future. So to be safe, make yourself independent. Make yourself independent in a way. You grow your own plants, you grow your own vegetable, you raise your own animals if you have land. If you don't, go buy their land if you can, and do all those things, those preparations for as if a world war is breaking out, which is breaking out, and that is what they want too. That's another agenda they have. They have divided the nations using religion, using faith, using classes of people, using races, different, using anything and anything that they can to divide you, so you're not united against them. you're divided against each other. And as you see, people are at Downing Street at number 10 protesting against a particular country who is literally killing people and have weaponized food and water against them. But the other people who are also against this very same government, who took to the streets according to themselves by millions, they didn't go there and they stayed silent. Why is that? Because somebody up there who is leading them, have divided them. If you want a united kingdom, then you have to truly be united, regardless of faith, beliefs, religion, racial differences, background, social classes, social background classes, anything. You have to be united. But you put the title united and you're still divided. You divide your own people from the other ones who are against the same person, the same government that you are against, but you are not united with them. So this is bad. That is not a good thing. That is not being balanced and, thinking level-headed. You need to think we both have the same enemy. We both have same cause. So let's work together. Let's work together. First of all, say no. Secondly, say no again with your own local petition and take that to your local MP. Thirdly, prepare yourself. And fourthly, the last thing I'm going to say is not the least, and in fact is the most important one. Pray. Pray in all earnesty that the powers that be crumble and fall apart. The powers who are controlling the world, not one or two particular families are controlling the world with their money, with their wealth, crumble down, crash, go against each other, let them expose each other and fight with each other, and let them be no more. And then let us pray for our own safety. And if you think, if you're at an age that you just think, well, it's not really bothering me, a digital ID is just another form, it's just the same as, like certificate of my vaccination or my, the bank app that you have downloaded and you're using and it's so convenient, which is another thing I've told people not to use, because all those were stepping stones for this that's coming. However, if you think that way, think about your children, think about your grandchildren if you have, think about the future, think about other people. You might be gone today, but tomorrow, there will be still days and nights, there will be still people living in this world. They want their own freedom. They want to have a life with freedom that you enjoyed. They want to have the same type of freedom you enjoyed. So let your children also enjoy the freedom that you had and enjoyed. So think about them. I hope you get the gist, and if you want to hear more of these things, more things that I cannot say on this video. I've already crossed a lot of red lines here, but if you want to hear more and hear from like-minded people and talk to those like-minded people, you can join us and become a member, and within our group you'll be meeting like-minded people who will also share the same values as you do. I hope to see you there, and until then, it's goodbye from me.